Josh, actually, ego and I am is the same thing. The I am presence, you can say, is the pure ego. That means that what is ego? Individual, autonomous existence. What is that? I am. I exist. Without adding anything to it. Okay. You see, there would be no... God needs a vehicle to announce, to have creation, to say I am. Because God's even beyond I am. God doesn't know he's God. He's got to differentiate himself to even know, whoa, I'm God. Because when we're talking about the absolute, it's literally everything. So it cannot announce anything, because anything that's being announced is happening inside it. You see? So it's like, for the creative show, he's got to start somewhere. What better way to start the closest expression to God, but still has a little sense of separation, is I am, or pure ego. Now the real movie magic starts. Then from there, the ego, or the I am, creates, you can say, the mind, the mental body, and then from there the emotional body, and then from there, you really want to get into it, the physical body. Now there's other body, we can say the ethereal and causal body, etc. But I like simple. It's not we're not. This isn't about we're not doing a test here. What's the right answer? We're just looking at stuff, and you can see all this. It's because it's here right now. It's inside you. You can be aware of these different vehicles of creative expression if you tune. When there's no mind, there's a sense of presence, or I am. Something's existing. That's your I am presence. And then if the mind comes in, the I am presence isn't even saying I am. The mind will speak and say, oh, I am. This is presence. The emotions will come in then and be like, oh, that feels nice. And then the physical body, that's where all this is experienced in. So it all works together, So the ego, we get in trouble because we're supposed to. So it's a divine mistake. But the trouble starts when the ego starts identifying with its lower vehicles. Mind, emotions, the body. Starts to think this is who it is. Starts to think that it's its thoughts. People just, they think they're their thoughts. Somebody says, you're walking down the street, MMA guy. Somebody says, you're stupid. The MMA's he has a thought whoa, you don't know who he's talking to. I need to break him off something proper. I need to treat him, I used to play this role too when I was in high school. Now I can't even think of the words. It's funny. I need to discipline him. I need to whip his ass. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. And so his thoughts will say that, and he'll believe, and then he'll go do it. There's no awareness between the I am presence and these thoughts. The ego thinks that it is the thoughts. And then you get in trouble. And the same with the feelings. When somebody called him an idiot, the feeling didn't like it. There was some feeling of animosities, and anger, maybe fear too, or insecurity, all that stuff. So then the pure ego identifies with that. And when you start identifying with this, you can say the lower vehicles, lower aspects of ourself, then that creates a whole nother world. You can call that sleeping, illusion. And then the law of karma operates on those levels for our own benefit, because otherwise, if there were no consequences, no action-reaction, we would never wake up. So it's all, this game is put together on such level, man, beyond intelligent. And we did it. Our own higher self consciousness put this game together. But it's not an individual consciousness. It's more of a universal aspect of ourself that did this. And then when it incarnates individually, it purposely forgets, because we wouldn't enjoy the show. We'd just know everything then. Everything would just be, oh yeah, this and that. And the non-dual hosts seem like they know all that. So we gotta like drink from the fountain of forgetfulness a little bit when we come here, so we can really participate and enjoy the show, but at the same time wake up to ourselves too. Imagine that. So that's the distinction. You have the pure I am presence, the pure ego, and then you have the diluted ego once it starts identifying with its creation. But see, is there any, you got to look at this though, like when people refer to themselves as me, I, they're usually referring to themselves as this human construct that's encompassed with the mind and thoughts and desires and tendencies and aversions and the physical body and emotions and feelings and all that. It's like something, the ego takes all that and says, that's me. But what is me? What do you mean? Am I the feeling, or am I the emotion, or am I the thought? Yeah, all that. So it's a concept. You see how it's a concept, this idea of me? It's just a concept. It's like life is moving in all these different aspects, and then something claims that and says, that's me. But it's not. It's just a flow of life. It's a flow of different levels of creation. Mental level, emotional level, physical level. So what takes all that and claims it to be me? The ego. What's the difference between my thoughts and feelings? Why do I take them so personal, but I don't take your thoughts and feelings so personal? If I'm talking to somebody and they're in depression, if they're suffering with some mental disorder, why aren't I suffering? But yet, when I was younger, I was suffering with some nervous system disorders for sure. Also physical pain, that still is alive in the body, but I'm not so identified with it. But why do I feel, what calls that mine? But yet, if you're feeling it, I don't take that on. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Is there a difference between my feelings, so-called, and thoughts, and your feelings and thoughts? Why can't they just be this vast space? There's just feelings and thoughts popping up and going down and changing. What's here to claim that? It's the ego, individualized consciousness, that localizes itself, and then so it can have the experience of this personal self that has its own thoughts, its own feelings, its own tendencies, everything. That has to be there. Otherwise, we wouldn't recognize our universal nature, our God nature. Again, we need contrast. We need duality. If we were just universal all the time, we wouldn't know we're universal. If God is just only God, doesn't know he's God. We need this play of creation. Now, you can say like an awakening or an ego death is when we realize our universal nature. Well, what does that look like? Depends. The intensity of that is different. It can be experienced as like you literally don't know, like where am I? Literally. You don't know where you start or where you end, that's universal nature. It's like the personal nature is disappeared. But there's still a little personal nature left. There's some provisional personal nature left. Otherwise, there wouldn't be that experience or reaction of the universal nature. That's why I say you can't be 100% awake. because you wouldn't exist. There would be nobody, you don't even know, there would be no awakening, no nothing. So the real awakening is, you get to where, I like to talk simple, you get to where it's like your universal nature is experienced more than not. But the personal nature never dissolves totally. And if you really come into that strong intensity of your universal nature, where like you don't know where you are, you're not going to stay like that. You couldn't exist. You'd burn up. You just couldn't exist. Your mind you'd have some brain aneurysm or something. You just couldn't do it. Or a heart attack. It's too much current. You see, these physical bodies aren't meant to experience those states for long periods of time. What do they say? They even say somewhere, some scripture, you can't be in nirvikalpa samadhi for more than 21 days or something. I think they're alluding to that. Now, when we're in these more subtle planes, if we're just in our astral body, or even better, causal body, yeah, you can experience these states, you know. It's a different deal. But this gross level of existence, with this gross level of body, you can't do it. That's why if you do too much plant medicine, have too many ego deaths, you're going to short circuit your brain, or you're going to just die at some point, have a heart attack or something, or end up like Terence McKenna. I think I've shared before, I had a friend here who knew him and talked to him in his last days, and his nervous system was so fried. All that current, he just couldn't talk to him. He'd just be like, give me a cigarette, you know. So you don't want to get like that. But you got to do a lot of medicine to get like that. You know? How do you be and stay as the I am presence? Through evolution, we start to just recognize and realize that this is really who we are. Because the thoughts and the feelings and the body, it's just changing all the time. My body looks so much different than when I was I don't know, where do I start? When I was a baby, when I was a teenager, and it's going to look different, 10 years from now. I mean, wisdom kicks in and realizes, like, wait a minute, like, this can't be it's just constantly changing. Like, how can this be who I am? Who am I, though? I can't be something that's changing all the time. My thoughts and feelings, and like, it's not stable. Like, how can I say that's who I am? As soon as I say this is who I am, it changes. So then what? I'm going to say, oh, this is who I am now? It's like, wait a minute. Like, something catches it. It's like, no. Who am I? And then grace will come to facilitate that process of realizing who we are. Because it'll be time. The desire will be there to do that, because we've already tasted experiencing enough and trying to get our needs and inner satisfaction fulfilled via worldly accolades and all this external stuff. Like, we've done that enough, because we have to. We got to know what that feels like. So when we do that enough, something changes. The intention starts to go inside, and then the spiritual practice is born, and then that has its own evolutionary journey, which I can say never really ends. But you get to where you're good. That's all we're talking about, getting to where we're good. Let me know if you're good. I'll see you.